Hi, my name's Danny Riley. I'm making this video in response to all the sheeple out there who keep saying that the 16th Amendment is the reason the income tax is legal and the reason it's not a fraud. Well, I can think of no better way to combat this lie and this ignorance than with the truth. So I decided to build this truth grenade and toss it out to the sheeple and the doubters. Okay, and hopefully I educate a few of them to the truth and wake them up. So let's go ahead and we'll first show you that there is no tax on your labor. The income tax is a fraud, and let me explain this. The 16th Amendment says the Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes on incomes from whatever source derived, without apportionment among the several states and without regard to any census or enumeration. So it can lay taxes on incomes, but then you have to ask yourself, what is income? In the 1913 Stratton case, the Supreme Court says, as has been repeatedly remarked, the Corporation Tax Act of 1909 was not intended to be and is not, in any proper sense, an income tax law. This court has decided in the Pollock case that the income tax of 1894 amounted in effect to a direct tax upon property and was invalid because not apportioned according to population as prescribed by the Constitution. The Act of 1909 avoided this difficulty by imposing not an income tax but an excise tax upon the conduct of business in a corporate capacity. So there you have it. That income is a tax on corporate profits according to corporate activity. So there you have it. And why is the definition of income found in the Corporation Excise Tax Act of 1909? That should explain it right there. So there you have it. The Supreme Court went on to say in the Eisner case in 1920, income made to be defined as the gain derived from capital, from labor, or from both combined, provided it be understood to include profit gained through a sale or conversion of capital assets, to which it was applied in the Doyle case. Okay, so there it tells you again that it's a gain derived from capital. So now that we know that the constitutional definition of income is corporate profits, let's read the 16th Amendment with the proper word inserted. The Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes on corporate profits from whatever source derived, without apportionment among the several states and without regard to the census of enumeration. See, now that makes sense, and it's also legal and constitutional. It's just the illegal ways the IRS applies the laws and the court allows them to get away with it. That's what's wrong. Okay, now that I showed you that income is defined as corporate profits by the Supreme Court, and I'm also going to show you now that there's no law that makes you liable for the income tax anywhere in the law, because you can't, because it's illegal. And we'll just go to the old 1040 instruction booklet for the last thing. So in the 2006 1040 instruction booklet on page 80, you can go to the Disclosure, Privacy Act, and Paper Reduction Act notice, and this is the IRS talking. They say that you must file a return or statement with us for any taxes you are liable for. Okay, and that's found in Code Section 6001, 6011, and 6012A. So they're telling you you only have to pay taxes that you're liable for. And the IRS is telling you that you only have to pay taxes that you're liable for because that's what the Supreme Court has said in numerous cases. Everybody's been looking for the law that makes them liable for an income tax, and nobody seems to be able to find it because there isn't one. But I will show you three other liability clauses in the tax code. For example, subsection 5005 states, the distiller or importer of distilled spirits shall be liable for the taxes imposed therein. So there's your alcohol tax. Okay, subsection 5703, the manufacturer or importer of tobacco products and cigarettes, paper tubes, shall be liable for taxes imposed. So there's your tobacco tax. And subsection 4401 is your wagering tax, which states in section C, each person who is engaged in the business of accepting wagers shall be liable and shall pay the tax under this subchapter. So there's three sections that make people liable for a tax, using the word liable, of course, because that's what the Supreme Court says. And yet there's nothing there for the income tax. Everybody just go look. It's in Title 26. There is no law. Okay, this is my question to all the sheeple out there that say the IRS is not a bad thing and the Federal Reserve is perfectly legal. What about Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution that says the Congress shall have power to coin money, regulate the value thereof in a foreign coin. Congress doesn't do that. It was illegally given to a private bank called the Federal Reserve. So that's totally illegal and unconstitutional. So that makes the Federal Reserve right there totally illegal and a fraud. But if you also go down to Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution, no state shall emit bills of credit. And that's exactly what these Federal Reserve notes are. They're not dollars. Dollars aren't defined anywhere in the law. They're bills of credit, so that's unconstitutional. And also, no state shall make but gold and silver coin as tender of payment of debts. So this phony paper money backed by nothing is also illegal. So there you have it. The Federal Reserve violates 3 parts of the Constitution. So it's all illegal. It's a fraud perpetrated on the American people. So to sum it all up, there you have it. There is no tax on your labor. There is no income tax. There is no law. It's all a fraud. We're being run by a bunch of criminals. By the international bankers through their phony money have set up this monster, the IRS, and set up this even bigger monster, the Federal Reserve. And that's who the enemy is and everything in between. So there you have it. And anybody who thinks anything different than what I just showed you is the enemy, because that's the truth.